Have you ever wondered what the hardest machine humanity builds actually looks like? And why the entire global AI boom would physically just grind to a halt without it?
It is the ultimate bottleneck, honestly. I mean, we spend so much time talking about trillion-dollar software companies, but every single line of code they write eventually funnels down through one very specific physical choke point.
Right, exactly. And that is our mission for today's deep dive. We are unpacking the Q2 fiscal year 2026 earnings report for ASML Holding. That's as of July 15th, 2026.
Yeah, we really want to figure out how this single company became basically the ultimate toll booth for the future of technology.
And whether their sky-high valuation actually matches reality or if it's just hype. So, okay, let's unpack
What's
this.
this?
For you listening, the vital context you need here is that ASML makes the machines that print the tiniest, most complex circuits on advanced computer chips.
Right, and crucially for the most advanced type of printing, which is called EUV, or extreme ultraviolet lithography, they are the only supplier on Earth, literally zero competitors.
Zero. Which is wild. And that's why today isn't just about reading a balance sheet.
No, not at all. ASML sits at the very front of the global chip supply chain. Their order intake is basically a leading indicator for the entire tech industry.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning, if you want to know what the AI industry is going to be capable of, say, 3 years from now, you look at what ASML is getting paid to build today.
Wow, okay. But before we dig into the 9.3 billion euros they made this quarter, I feel like we really have to understand what exactly they are selling to justify that monopoly status.
Yeah, calling it a printer for computer chips is doing a massive disservice to the engineering involved.
A printer just sounds so basic. We really need to look at the machines themselves. I mean, my understanding is an EUV lithography system contains hundreds of thousands of individual parts.
Hundreds of thousands, yes. And they weigh multiple tons. It requires multiple 747 cargo planes just to ship one system.
That is massive. But it's not just the size, right? Like the way it works, the way they generate light sounds completely unhinged.
It really does. I mean, to print a modern computer chip, it's sort of like having a complex stencil of a massive city grid.
Okay.
And if you try to trace that stencil onto a postage stamp using like a fat permanent marker, you just get a useless blob of ink.
Right. You need something way more precise.
Exactly. You need a microscope and a laser-fine pen to trace lines that are only a few atoms wide. And in this industry, the pen is light.
Specifically, this extreme ultraviolet light.
Right. And the problem the industry faced for decades was that standard lasers just could not produce a wavelength of light small enough to draw those atomic level lines.
So ASML basically had to invent an entirely new kind of light source.
They did, because you can't just go buy an EUV bulb at the hardware store.
Yeah, the way they do it, and this blew my mind, they fire lasers at microscopic droplets of tin.
Yep.
But they don't just zap a piece of metal once. They fire these lasers at the tin droplets 50,000 times every single second.
It is wild. And the reason for the 10 and the 50,000 times a second is that when that high-power laser hits the tin droplet, it vaporizes it into a plasma.
Oh, okay.
And that extremely hot plasma is what emits the exact 13.5 nanometer wavelength of extreme ultraviolet light that they need.
So they're essentially creating tens of thousands of microscopic controlled starbursts every single second.
Basically, yes, just to harvest the specific light wavelength that comes off of it.
That is insane. I mean, it's like trying to build a perfectly calibrated spaceship just to draw a microscopic line.
That's a great way to put it. And producing the light is just step one. Because once you have this plasma-generated light, you have to direct it onto the silicon wafer.
Right, which brings us to their partnership with Zeiss to build the mirrors.
Yeah, the mirrors are a whole other level of crazy.
I read this analogy in our research notes, and it is staggering. To give you a sense of how perfectly calibrated these mirrors have to be to reflect that light without distorting it, if you took one of these Zeiss mirrors and scaled it up to be the size of the entire country of Germany,
The whole country, yeah?
the biggest bump or imperfection on its surface would be a fraction of a millimeter.
It's a level of precision that is almost impossible to comprehend, honestly.
Why does it need to be that smooth, though?
Well, there's a very practical reason. Every time that EUV light bounces off a mirror, some of it gets absorbed. So you need absolute perfection to ensure enough light actually reaches the chip to print the pattern quickly.
Okay, so understanding all of that, the 50,000 plasma bursts a second, the Germany-sized mirrors with millimeter bumps, it suddenly makes perfect sense why no one else is doing this.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the ultimate economic moat. This technology took 2 decades and billions upon billions of euros to develop.
Right. You can't just spin up a startup to compete with that.
Exactly. Chip-making giants like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel, they physically cannot make leading-edge AI chips without ASML. Switching costs are effectively infinite because there's simply nothing else to switch to.
So you have a monopoly on an irreplaceable machine. How exactly does that translate to the current quarter's bottom line?
It translates very well. It was a classic beat and raise quarter. Revenue hit 9.3 billion euros.
Which is up 21% year over year, right?
Yep, and up 6% from last quarter. Gross margin came in at 54%, which beat their guidance. Net income was 2.9 billion euros, with earnings per share at 7.59 euros.
Okay, but wait, I want to push back on the hardware sales for a second because the math just isn't mathing for me here.
Oh yeah, where's the disconnect?
Well, the report says they sold 86 new lithography systems this quarter, which is up from 67 the prior quarter.
Right.
But even if we assume these systems are incredibly expensive, selling 86 machines doesn't automatically get you to 9.3 billion euros in a single quarter with those massive profit margins.
Yeah.
Am I missing a huge chunk of revenue?
You are, and it's arguably the most important part of their business model.
What is it?
A massive 2.76 billion euros of that quarterly revenue didn't come from selling those 86 new machines. It came from a category called installed base management.
Ah, so it's the classic razors and blades model.
Exactly. Selling the machine is just the beginning of the transaction. You have thousands of ASML machines already sitting inside fabrication plants globally.
Right, and ASML gets paid to service them and crucially upgrade them.
Yes. Customers leaned heavily into upgrading older machines this quarter to make them faster. And for ASML, this is incredibly high-margin recurring revenue.
Because they don't have to build a whole new machine from scratch.
Right. It was the primary driver of the earnings beat, actually.
So the current quarter was really insulated by those service upgrades. But looking forward, management's future guidance is what's truly exploding.
Oh yeah, the future numbers are massive.
What's pulling all this future demand? Why are they scaling up so fast?
CEO Christophe Fouquet cited extremely strong first-half orders driven by AI investment. Basically, it's pulling demand for advanced logic and memory chips.
So customers are locking in commitments years out.
Exactly. To meet this, ASML is undergoing massive capacity expansion. For 2027, they are adding 30% to their low NA EUV capacity.
From a base of about 65 systems, right?
Correct. And they're already investigating another 30% for 2028.
Wait, let's clarify some terminology here, because the report heavily distinguishes between low NA and high NA EUV machines. What does NA actually stand for?
NA stands for numerical aperture. In optics, it's basically a measure of a lens system's ability to gather and focus light.
So why does moving from low to high matter so much?
Well, think of it like upgrading from a standard camera lens to a highly specialized wide-angle lens. A higher numerical aperture captures light at sharper angles so you can focus it more tightly.
And the tighter the focus, the thinner the microscopic line you can draw.
Exactly. High NA is what's going to let chip makers break through the next physical barriers of miniaturization.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just EUV capacity growing. DUV immersion capacity is also jumping.
Yeah, plus 30% for 2027 from a base of about 130 machines, and investigating another 30% for 2028.
But again, let's unpack the jargon. DUV and immersion, what are we actually talking about?
So DUV is deep ultraviolet. It's the older generation of lithography. It can't print the absolute tiniest transistors, but it's still the workhorse for slightly less complex chips.
And the immersion part, I mean, are they submersing these laser machines in water?
Actually, yes. It's a brilliant workaround. They put a very thin layer of purified water between the lens and the silicon wafer.
Because water bends the light.
Exactly. Just like a straw looks bent in a glass of water. It increases the resolution and squeezes another generation of life out of the older tech.
That is fascinating. So they're expanding across the board. And they raised their full year 2026 outlook too.
Yep. They're projecting 43 billion to 45 billion euros in revenue, with 54 to 56% gross margin.
Plus, they did 1.1 billion euros in stock buybacks this quarter and a 1.88 euro interim dividend.
They are betting real money on durable AI demand, and the upcoming catalyst is the next-gen high-NA EUV machines we mentioned.
Right. And those cost, what, roughly 350 million euros each?
Each, yes. Expectations are sky high for their capital markets day on June 10th, 2027.
Okay, I'm going to pump the brakes here. We have a monopoly recurring revenue, a massive AI tailwind. It sounds like a fairy tale. But let's look at the price tag, because perfection is rarely cheap.
It is definitely not cheap.
Let's do a 5-year review. Revenue has roughly doubled. Trailing 12-month operating profit is around 12.5 billion euros.
And the business scores a clean 6 out of 6 on quality checks.
Right, like the rule of 40, accelerating operating profit, massive free cash flow, almost no net debt.
But this raises an important question about the start price.
Yeah, I was trading around 1,792 euros, having peaked at 1,989 euros at quarter end.
Which gives them a really steep PE ratio of 48 times trailing earnings. It even briefly hit 63 times.
48 times earnings for a heavy manufacturing company. That leads us right into the risks. What's keeping investors up at night?
There are 4 major risks. First is just that valuation. At 48 times earnings, years of perfect growth are priced in. Any stumble gets punished.
Right, perfection is expected. What's the second?
China and export controls. Western governments keep tightening restrictions on DUV sales to China.
Which creates a recurring overhang. It makes forecasting incredibly difficult.
Exactly. Third is cyclicality. Chip demand runs in cycles. Orders can pause and cause the stock to swing wildly.
Boom and bust. And the fourth?
Customer concentration. A handful of chip makers drive demand. If just one delays a fab, ASML feels it instantly.
Because almost no one else can afford a 350 million euro machine.
Precisely.
So to summarize this deep dive, ASML is basically the only company on Earth that can print the future. They had a massive beat-and-raise quarter driven by service demand and AI capacity building.
But at 1,792 euros a share and 48 times earnings, you are paying a massive premium for this AI tool booth.
Definitely.
So looking at these massive capacity expansions versus the geopolitical risks, what stands out to you about ASML's position?
It's a great question for you all listening, and I want to leave you with a final thought to explore on your own. ASML is headquartered in a single town, Veldhoven, in the Netherlands.
Just one town.
Yeah. If a single company in a single town is the sole bottleneck for global AI supremacy, how long until massive tech conglomerates or rival governments fundamentally alter their global strategies to either aggressively protect or desperately try to bypass the single point of failure?
That is the million-dollar question.
Keep an eye on Veldhoven.